Thank you, Henok, for doing this. I think we should start with this congratulations in order. You just had a holding ceremony for your PhD.
Yeah, this is my pleasure, Tamire. I'm glad that we're having this discussion. Yeah, so as you well know, and you and your wife, Salam, were with me for dissertation, actually. I defended my dissertation more than a year ago, I think, and for various reasons, I was not able to attend the holding ceremony at the time. So I'm glad that I was able to do it. I have never gone to any graduation ceremony in my life, maybe once, I guess.
Okay.
So I didn't even go to my MA graduation at George Washington, but for some reason I was interested. It's a lot of people are pushing me. But anyway, I was really happy that I was able to do it with you guys. And after you got released and you were able to come to the U.S., yeah.
Thank you. So one of the things that pushed me to start this podcast in U.S. is, last time when on May 3rd, when I was at the National Press Club, I saw the reaction for English content even among Ethiopians. And, of course, my friend, the Ethiopians, my fans. And there is a lot of need for English content. And we were planning to start English content while we were in Addis, and, whatever happened. But now we're here. I see that there is a lot of need. Yes, we will keep continuing to do Amharic content. But I think starting another kind of podcast once in a while where we can is important. That's the reason we're starting. And another thing is, yes, we don't yet have the full infrastructure here. It's our friend Jonas and Jonathan who just rented the studio for us. We want to thank them. They just became de facto Terara crew now. And you've done a lot of research. You've been podcasting or even participating in other Ethiopian medias or Ethiopian related content producers. What do you think is the reason, or why do you think we don't have a lot of English content, even though there is the need?
I really don't know. It's really strange. It's unfortunate that we don't have any English medium, it's online content. I really don't understand it. It's ironic in a way because we always complain about Western powers, the international community doing this and doing that, and they don't speak Amharic. We know it as whatever Tigrinya or as Afan Oromo. We know that, but we still, for some reason, do not even try to produce just English content, whatever our beliefs or political views may be. So I really don't understand. I really don't know. I'd rather not speculate. You are the journalist. You might have some idea as to why that's the case, but it's really unfortunate and ironic also.
Yeah, and then one of the things I was reminded again here is that a lot of policymakers, or even journalists or people that are interested in the region, the only medium or English content that is predominantly they get is through, non-profits or academy.
Yeah. and diplomats,
diplomats,
which is kind of a twisted way of communicating. Yeah,
exactly. So I hope we would give voice to one of the perspective. If not all, we can't be all. We can't represent all voices, but at least this would be one platform where people would get one of the perspectives. That's my hope, and I hope we will continue to produce once in a while, only once in a week or twice, at least once in 2 weeks.
However often, maybe, but we still have to do it.
Yeah, and then the format, we hope to invite guests. I had an interesting dinner last night with some friends who could, writers, journalists, academics who could really participate here. So that's my hope. The other thing in this regard, I want to ask you is, how do you see the landscape of the Ethiopian diaspora media? I mean, the Ethiopian diaspora, when I came back, is a whole different from where I left it.
Oh, okay.
It's different. But
what did you notice? What's the difference?
Man, it's fragmented.
Hasn't it always been fragmented?
No, I think for example, the return of Gambot Sabat to Ethiopia.
Okay.
The OMN, the ISHAT dissolution. I think these factors.
Yes, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Have even fragmented it even further.
Yes.
But what's your take? Like, especially on because you've been.
Yes, I was here, but okay, as you know, I was not actively participating in any online media except here and there as occasionally. But I was trying to observe, and there is, kind of the endless disintegration of the ISAT and similar media, which I think we know the reason. One important reason is people of Gambot Sabat. Coming after whatever so-called reform with Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, he was really effective in dismantling whatever left of the opposition. So that's one reason. Most of the media were associated with one or another political party or political group or ideology. So once the Prime Minister Abiy and his group came to power, for various reasons, people were kind of adjusting and kind of realigning, and there was a lot of conflict, and we know what's going on now. So I think that's one of the main reasons. It's not that the online Amharic media were not disintegrated or disorganized. They were disorganized. They had there is at the background, but when you add the powerful state of the kind of participating and kind of intervening, the situation has become much worse now, and that's why media like Terara would be really important, kind of in trying to kind of balance what we lost in the past. 4 or 5 years, I guess. Yeah.
I hope so too. But I attended an event organized by the Global Alliance, and one of the things, there is always a kind of vitriol element on social media. Always. That's the inherent, I think. Inherent. But there was a very strong campaign against that event for various reasons. But what the major takeaway I took was, the major takeaway I kind of understand was, I think Prime Minister Abiy has succeeded in disintegrating the diaspora, political activism, media, kind of network sphere. And previously, let's not get into the no more movement, but previously, whenever there was a movement, or at least a campaign or an event in the DMV area, at least in the area I observed, there was a tacit kind of silence or silent support. For example, when Oromo nationalists were opposing TPLF, the Ethiopian nationalists would at least be silent. Some would even go join them.
Yes.
There was a kind of...
They tolerated each other, at least, at the very least.
At least the very least.
They knew what's going to come, but we tolerated one another. So
one another.
I am part of it.
Yeah, there was...
diaspora,
there was like my enemy of... I mean...
Enemy of my enemy is...
enemy of my enemy. Kind of approach between the Ethiopian diaspora. Now that has gone. Like everybody is enemy of everybody. There's no, no focal point of opposition.
In a way, yes, but again, there's some irony that I see here. As much as the Prime Minister was able to dismantle the diaspora media or political movements, now, with what he's doing, that's a horrifying thing. So that's happening in Ethiopia. He is, at least unifying one part of the opposition. Maybe I don't know about the Oromo nationalists. Now, they're at least showing some support, kind of at least ideological support, as long as the OPDO is able to attack or possibly destroy whatever some Amharic movements or the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Whoever does it, they're good. They're fine with it. They're happy with it.
He's accomplishing their mission.
That's what he's doing. He's doing their bidding. Actually, it's his own bidding, but anyway, so they don't have to do it as long as he's doing. And also, he has done some important things. He was able to he was able to cheat everyone, actually. Who hoodwinked everyone, every political activist who has spent 40, 50 years in politics. They were not able to figure out what kind of person he is in 5 years. That's unbelievable to me, at least. Yeah, so, but one thing that we can say is he divided the opposition. The Oromo nationalists are now aligning themselves with
certain
with him, and the other Ethiopianists and Amharic nationalists are showing some cooperation, and there's some understanding, at least a good deep understanding where the country is going. Maybe they don't like one another, maybe personally or for some other reasons, but ultimately ideologically they're kind of getting aligned, and so I don't know what eventually is going to happen, but this is not going to be good for the Prime Minister or for Ethiopia. Yeah, but I think he might have imagined this, and he might have thought, okay, that's I have the power, I have the drones and whatever, so TPLF is kind of defeated, and now it's in my camp, so I can defeat any and can destroy any other power. I don't think that's going to work, but that's not the topic of the discussion. But as in terms of media, he has kind of created some kind of some realignments and readjustments, and
I think I said one of the things that shocked me is even though there is no consensus among the diaspora activists or media political sphere as there used to be, and as there's no focal point of kind of opposition or point of organization, what I see is a consensus of hatred toward Prime Minister Abiy. A very, very emotional...
Yes, that's a visceral, and deservedly so, I might add, yeah.
Yeah, and especially I've been to church, weddings.
Yes, you've been all over the place.
I've been all over.
I know which
and the group,
the
group that is most faithful to Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, from my observation, are women.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's interesting. So why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think there was serious he really, from his very
He
famous
was very appealing to
women
women of all ages.
of all ages.
Yes.
And, he addressed mothers,
Praying for me.
praying for
Yeah.
and he kind of he really put 50% of women into his cabinet. His
Yes.
earliest campaign was very much like targeted to the woman. And then one of the things I realized that people that have been dissatisfied with Ethiopian politics, that constituency, were prominently dominated by women. Women were the most suspicious of Ethiopian political activism.
Yeah.
And he drew them in.
Yes.
And once he drew them in, what he's doing now, he had this destroying old buildings of old ladies and giving them new houses, like
Yes.
ops.
Yeah.
All those things.
While at the same time, yeah,
planning to do what he's doing to Addis Ababa now. So I think women feel betrayed, or even
yes, that's true. That's exactly
the most.
There's a deep sense of betrayal.
I've come across Eritrean women, or women, like Tigrayan women. Name it, old, young. They feel like a very strong sense of being betrayed, and I think this is very dangerous for him.
Yeah, it's also, I think this the sense of betrayal is much wider. I think now. Okay, maybe you're right about the women, but even the men, whoever, it's old, young.
The reason I say it's very strong is among women is men. I think we've always discussed politics, and the way we discuss politics has been common. But the way women come to me and share their strong sense of hatred for him is unique.
Yeah, that's an interesting observation. But there are people. There's at least one person that I know who is still trying to defend the prime minister, which was quite unsuccessfully, obviously. There are some. There was at least until about a year ago. I try to understand people who still try to defend him for the phenomenon that's known as cognitive dissonance, as you know. So people have this cognition, understanding, and knowledge of something, and the reality becomes completely different, and there's a conflict. So they don't want to be wrong. They even become more committed to the cause, or whatever the cause might have been. So that was at least until a year ago. Not anymore. I don't think there is any room for cognitive dissonance these times. This is what's happening in Ethiopia. I don't think it just gives you any room for whatever speculation, whatever reasons that you might give, that people have been trying to give for defending the prime minister.
And the other observation I had is, since since the introduction of the ethnic federalism, there has been, a movement of Amhara nationalism. It has its own, ups and downs.
Yeah, we've been talking about that movement since many years ago. Many people you remember. Okay, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah.
No. We've had interesting cafe discussions.
Yes.
Some characters.
Yeah, some characters were actually adamant that there is no such thing as Amharic nationalism. Amharic cannot be a kind of ethno-nationalist.
Yes.
That was but there was clear indications that there was kind of a rising and a swelling up kind of movement.
Yeah, but now the new phenomena for me after coming back, is people who have openly, openly declaring themselves like, I'm not anymore Ethiopian, I want an Amhara state, I want secession.
I have yet to listen to people like that. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but I'm saying, these people
That's really
are vocal voices.
Yes.
These are not like
they're not the weirdos anymore.
they're not weirdos.
That's not a
Yes.
fringe position anymore.
That's not
it
a
used
fringe
to be,
position. Yes.
but not anymore. Maybe you disagree with it, but you have to respectfully disagree with that kind of view.
Yes.
But
They've
in the
become a
past,
kind
you could kind of dismiss it out of hand. What are you talking about? That's
Yes.
crazy. Not anymore.
Not anymore. It's a constituency now.
Yes.
So that's one phenomenon. The other thing, I mean, it's like any movement, it would have its pendulum.
It's ups and downs. Yeah.
It's up and downs. But what worries me now is this going to be a kind of movement that would destabilize the diaspora movement's ability to organize effectively for whatever is coming against Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed? I mean, I don't see anything strong enough to create a coalition at this moment
Among who?
among the diaspora activists who are opposing Prime Minister Abiy
Okay.
or hating Prime Minister. The hate we discussed earlier, the abandonment of Prime Minister Abiy we see among the diaspora. I don't know if it will translate or when it will translate to a kind of organized activism that we used to see during TPLF's reign.
Yes.
So, the Amhara nationalism's becoming very vocal in a very unique way that we've never seen. What do you think? Would this be like a center to organize all other oppositions against Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, or would you think it would be a disruptor that would disable others not to organize against him effectively?
Yeah, I think it depends on what he is going to do next.
Okay.
But now these days he's predictable. So but with some kind of a reasonable certainty, we can say what he's going to do. So he's been over the past year or two, he's been consistent in this anti-Ethiopia, this anti-Amharic as activities, such in all kind of areas, economically, politically, as militarily, social values, whatever. So he's exactly doing demographic missions and the violence that's going on. Right? So you can blame whatever was happening. There's the massacre, the ethnic cleansing, and then genocidal violence in Wallaka. You can blame it on someone, some group, but not at least what's going on around us Addis Ababa. So that's really what scares me the most. In terms of its impact, its future impact. So I will not be surprised if OPDO starts to destroy as houses that were built 1,500 years ago, as it's in the kind of and in the central areas of Addis Ababa. So I expect him to continue like this until maybe there is kind of this dominant Amhara movement kind of powerful enough to make him think twice about continuing what he's been doing. If he continues like that, I think whatever Ethiopianist, Amhara, or whoever would be aligned, would come together, including other kind of so-called minority groups, because as you can see, as OPDO is doing something really kind of not unusual, but kind of predictable. Look at the kind of the areas surrounding the Oromia region, the kind of the neighboring regions. They are fighting with the Afar, fighting with the Somalis, kind of destroying some regions of Sidama. So trying to go even beyond the kind of Kamise and go to Dasi. And they're doing something about it. They're fighting, they're killing people. So this is not going to help them in the context of
sustainable.
Yeah, it's not going to be sustainable. They're going to be gone. What scares me the most is you don't have to be a prophet or something to say that they're not going to last very long. What really worries me is how they are going to go. So that's really what worries me the most. So what they're trying to do is really very, very dangerous, and so I don't even want to think about it, but still have
You
still
to think.
yeah, just try to do not to think about it. I think about it, kind of really stressful and depressing. They're not going to succeed. I'm not worried about whether they're going to succeed or not. What I'm worried about the most, I've said this again and again in the past and in different contexts, is the destruction that's unimaginable destruction that's going to follow when they try to do what they want to do, like they are doing. They're starting. And the other movements, the Amharic movement, are just starting. They don't have any idea what's coming. So I know a lot about what's going on. It's in the Amharic region. So yeah, that's
you're right. The response to Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed in Opidio could be very scary because it will be multifaceted. And the reason it will be multifaceted is because Prime Minister Abiy is just one of those maniacs. For instance, he starts a confrontation with the Orthodox Church and the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, and that's a very big project.
That's a very big project. I'm really surprised that he thought he would be able to pull it off.
But he's going to it.
Yeah.
And you think that's one, like, for any government, I mean, for not only for Ethiopian government, but for any government to attack an old established institution like the Ethiopian Orthodox Church is one project. And you think that's enough? They go after destroying houses around Addis Ababa. And then you think, for whatever reason, I mean, demographic reason, or giving back the land to their cadres and loyalists. And that's one another project. And when you think they don't have enough on their plate, they go into Amhara region and start another war. And you think that's another and difficult thing.
Yeah.
They already are trying to threaten Eritrea.
They're unbelievable.
They're unbelievable. They are kind of, you can see that they're plotting a naked level war with Eritrea in coalition with TPLF. And then, while at the same time, they have a lot of on their plate. I mean,
while also causing up to TPLF and trying to bring them to their fold and trying,
which is a whole lot of project
itself to turn them against the Amhara and even Eritrea. So okay, I don't think these people know what they're doing, but still,
but
they're doing what they're doing.
I think, this is the reason I say the attack. Since he attacks everything, like on time, from every direction, the response is going to be similar. All these institutions, all these interest groups, all this, even if they don't form coalition, they're going to come at you.
They are. I think I've told you, you and Salam, it's a story of my relative in Desi. It's much younger than me. He is a graduate of Addis Ababa University. He has a job. He's a wife and a kid. And all of a sudden, he became a founder. Desi is one of the bigger cities in the region. You don't expect this kind of activity. At least it's been a long time since I left Desi, but I did not expect
you
that kind
expect a person
that
has a lot to lose.
A lot to lose. Remember, so he had been visiting his mother for 5 years, and when my sister asked him why he was not visiting, he hadn't been visiting his mother. His response really shocked me. It's going to floored me. What he said was, I want her to get used to the situation because I'm going to die anyway.
That's very fatalistic, and
you can think of it however you want, but this is the level of people's frustration and angers. So he wants his mother to get used to Just the day, the time after his death.
Yeah,
So he is expecting to die.
Yes.